You walked in with a grin, tail wagging wide again. Everybody stopping just to see. Every nose wants to know where you get that happy glow. You're the cutest pup in this whole town, oh, can't you see? Folks whisper when you trot on by, like, who's that fluffy superstar? Right, let's give 'em something to bark about, a little woof to howl about. Let's give 'em something to bark about. Oof and love, oof and love. Jumping puddles in the yard, chewing shoes like it ain't hard, chasing after every squirrel inside. You got style, you got flair, first flying everywhere. You turn every ordinary day into highlight. Neighbors peeking through the blinds like, there goes that dog again. Let's give 'em something to bark about, a tail wag stroll around the block. Let's give 'em something to bark about. Oof and love, oof and love. Maybe we're fetching, maybe we're playing, maybe we're just outside misbehaving. But you and me, pup, we're living out loud. Every walk feels like a parade. Every night you've got it made in a cuddled up dog dream, dreaming proud of. Let's give 'em something to bark about, a howl at midnight kind of shout. Let's give 'em something to bark about. Wolf and love, wolf and love.
I don't think there's anything better on earth than whoop and love. Welcome, welcome, everybody. There's something to bark about, so let's get to barking. Happy June 1st. How many Gemini friends do I have out there? I am a June baby, and we'll have a birthday coming up on June 6th. Gonna hit that 63. That don't even seem possible coming out of my mouth. Y'all come on in, join the chat. I got 5 of my girls up here that wanted to join. Kelsey, she was like, nope, not doing it. And Cotton's just doing whatever Cotton wants to do. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Monday, wonderful start to a new month. I know summertime is hit here in South Arkansas. It is probably mid-90s today. I mean, it went from cool to bam, hot, no in between, no getting used to it, just all of a sudden it's hot. And probably going to be close to 100 this week, they're talking about. So that's always fun. I have to keep the dogs shut up during the afternoons when it warms up like this, and they get to play early and then going home late, but it's just too hot for them to be out running and playing right now. So has anybody found me yet? Y'all come on in, let me know. I've seen a couple join here and there. I didn't look to see who else might be live right now. That's always a mistake. Hey, DR, welcome, welcome. Glad you found me. I never know if I'm getting out or if I push the right buttons and all that good stuff. But when I get a friendly hi, then that tells me something's working right. I hope everybody's getting ready for summer because it's here in Arkansas. I don't know about other places, but we've had quite a bit of rain the last week or so, which we needed. We've been in a drought situation, and I think finally by May they put us out of the drought for the month of May. Now that doesn't take up for all the drought issues, but we got some much needed rain the last few days. Yep, they're all chilled here. Uh, it's gonna get funny because No is pregnant and she's getting to be a little blimp. Um, it's still too early to take her and see how many she's got, but she had six in her first litter, three long coats and three spud coats, and uh, she is pretty big. She's going to be due around June 20th, so uh, to have a whole nother 20 days and already pudging out like she is, she's going to be a big girl. But I'm excited. I hadn't had my puppies that I've bred in a couple of years, so I'm excited and ready to see what we get and hopefully have healthy babies and healthy mama. That's always my biggest concern. But it's something exciting. But we might have to get down on numbers as she gets bigger because she wants to be in the live stream. When I even have to spell it when I'm getting ready, and if I say the word before I'm thinking about it, they're all just begging me to get up in their bed. But she's definitely growing something inside of her, so we're excited. Well, I hope everybody's doing good. Been missing y'all. I missed out on last week, and I hated that. But sometimes, well, one, our electricity has went off a couple of times, just no, for no reason. I mean, we did have some wind damage and stuff a couple weeks ago, but last week, I think it was on Thursday, just up, no electricity for about 4 hours. And I'm hoping it don't try to do that now that it's done heated up, because we are definitely using the air conditioners are working hard. In fact, that may sound, I didn't check to see how that sounds in the background with that roaring of a AC going. What's anybody know new? I hadn't been able to keep up with stuff like normal. Been watching women's college softball that's going on in Oklahoma City, and it's been fun. Tennessee and Texas are playing right now, and Texas won this morning, and so whoever wins this game gets to go on to the semifinals. So I'm excited. Our poor little Arkansas girls, they at least made it to the College World Series this year, which was the first time for the program that's been at the top and winning a lot, but just couldn't get out of the regionals or super regionals. But they did this year. But bless their hearts, they got to play twice and got beat both times. So one game was very close, I think by one run, and then the second game was like 11-0. So they got run rolled in the fifth inning. So I'm a big softball nerd. Used to play and was a pitcher when I was a kid. So, and it's amazing to see what opportunities now are there for young girls wanting to do this. It's just an amazing opportunity for them. But yeah, DR, I'm doing good. I actually go tomorrow for my biopsy, and I'm feeling, I'm just ready to get it going, get it over with. Um, I'm got to go to Little Rock, which is about 115, 20 miles for me, and got to be there at 6 a.m. So I have to get up and leave here probably by 3:30 in the morning. So it's going to be a way early up and going. But at least, that's, they said it would take 3 to 4 hours. And I'm just ready to, get a good report. I'm believing that it's not going to be a big deal, and um, you know, for sure something they can just fix, and I can keep on keeping on. That's my plan anyway, and it has just been amazing. My uh, friends and family, I got the best customers in the world. um, and they have just it just overwhelms you when you got that kind of back got you back kind of thing, and people praying for you, and it's add my YouTube friends, and going into like on Tug show the other day, or uh, just different folks on um, the different ones I follow, and them all sending me good wishes and prayers. Man, I just appreciate it all, and um, I appreciate that. Um, you know, like I said, it's one of them deals where I'm gonna put this up on the screen so I can help keep up with it. But if I hadn't have broke my rib, I wouldn't know any of this. So I'm confident that the good Lord, help this be exposed very early. And the best scenario is that they can do surgery and fix it, no issues. Um, the next deal will be do surgery and have to have chemo if it is small cell cancer. But I'm just, like I said, I've been overwhelmed by my friends and family and customers that are just. I didn't do daycare but one day last week, and uh, it was just amazing. The dogs only coming today. I was planning on it just being, go get that deal done tomorrow, but through advice of a couple of my customers, or doctors, in fact, and my niece is a nurse, and so they were like, you just need to chill after having this done tomorrow. And so that's what I'm going to do. Of course, we've got several boarders that we're going to do everything we can to keep the boarding babies being able to come in, because people are leaving town, and planning on us taking care of their babies so they can go on vacation. And also, it's my income, so it's kind of a double-edged sword there. I need the babies to board, and of course, we're not going to do anything that we're not sure they're taken care of. But I have some extra buddies that have offered to come, help me out. And so, and I have customers that are basically self-serve customers. It'll just blow your mind that, they know where their dogs go. I mean, I got tickled years ago. I was doing an interview with a radio program, and they asked me to They are correct. Focus on you right now. Always have positive thoughts. Thank you, DR. Uh, but this lady was interviewing me about my business and talking about, my home being connected to my kennel and how you have to set um, hours, and the first few years was difficult because, people thought because you lived there, you had to be open 24/7, which we technically are. When you're taking care of other people's babies, it's a 24/7 job, and we are open 7 days a week for certain hours. But I had to get real strict on, hey, I have a life too, and when I'm closed, I'm taking care of the babies, but we're closed, and so, uh, but it's just like I said, I've been overwhelmed with. Um, I even had a customer that they had started a new business, and both of them are young and busy, and I haven't even seen their dogs this year for daycare, and they sent me the whole year of daycare money. And it's like, don't let us lose our spot. And I'm going, you can't make that kind of stuff up. It just, you can't make it up. And like I said, I'm ready to get this thing going. I'm not good at waiting. So, I'm like, I, I'm not that much of a planner. I do like to have a plan and stick to it, but I can roll with whatever's happening at the moment, that kind of deal. But with this, it's like you want to get it going and get answers, and so that's what I'm ready for, and get to concentrating on some new babies coming in the world. I've been telling her we're feeding truth and justice, and uh, I guess two of the babies are going to be named Truth, and one of them be named Justice. And it just, I don't know where it came from, but her first litter had no no. Okay, her name's no no. We had maybe and yes, and uh, the long coats were uh, Petro and Diesel and Bonnie BA, and it was Bonnie Badass, but to keep it nice, we called her Bonnie BA. And anyway, and I had a smoke cup boy. I can't remember what his name was, but it was fun. And that's kind of how I don't like the everyday dog names of Rover and Spot and Charlie and whatever. I mean, if your dog's named Charlie, no offense, or Rover or Spot, I didn't mean it that way, but I like unique names. When I uh, was showing a Bendigo, that was cool because everybody wanted to know where that name came from. And her brother's name was Shadrach, and her sister's name was Meshach. So I had Shadrach, Abednego, and Meshach. Uh, and Meshach ended up in Washington State, and she's a champion and did quite a bit of winning. And their brother Shadrach lives in Marshall, Texas, and he's a champion and did good. And Abednego, she's just my girl. She didn't care to show, and if they don't like to do it, I'm not going to force them. People always, there's so many thoughts out there on what show dogs are and that kind of stuff. And what I tell people is first, they're your dog, your baby. Now, yes, there is some of the professional handlers that, travel every weekend all around the country. And they call it campaigning the dog, to where they're going after the big points, and the dogs that make it to Westminster and all that. But they're still just, babies. I mean, in my eyes, and just like a kid, a kid loves something, then you want to support them and encourage them. And if they don't like it, then you're usually not going to make them have to do it. So, um, DR says, let others help you. Yeah, and that's the thing too with this deal is I love helping people. I love doing stuff for others, and was so blessed to care for my mom and dad both. In fact, in this room right here, I moved in my mom with uh, Alzheimer's, and she died when she was 69. So I had her about 3 years living with me, and that was a horrible, horrible disease. And watch somebody, I say that's you watch them, you grieve for them twice. You grieve for them while they're still alive, and you grieve for them after they're gone. And then probably about 5 or 6 years after mom passed away, my dad's health got bad, and he moved him in this room, and uh, doctor said he wouldn't make it for 30 days. He had big heart issues and stuff, and he made it 5 years. So I was definitely, definitely blessed to be able to care for my parents. But that's just always been me is I love helping people and trying to do something for others. And I'm a giver, if I can make somebody's day a little better, then I'll do whatever I can to make that happen. But that, when it's on the receiving end, then that's when it's, something different. DR says, my dog, as you can see, is a border collie. Her name is Tamale. Oh, I love it. Just to spit on Tamale. And yes, my girl is my baby. Cool, cool. Border collies are so smart. I mean, such smart dogs. I always called them cheat dogs. Uh, for if you've been around different dog breeds, you have your Goldens and Border Collies and German Shepherds. These dogs that are just super, super intelligent. Jack Russell's was a breed that I was just amazed at how intelligent, and really they teach you something, and then you can teach them. I mean, they're usually a step or two ahead. Uh, and we added the dock diving back. I think it was 2016 or 2017, right as the sport was just uh, getting going. And I've always been about anything dog related. I felt like if it can happen, it could happen in Camden, and have been so blessed to be able to. We did dog shows, all breed dog shows here for 20 years. And it was just so fun to see all my buddies come to my town for a weekend and spend their money in my community. And it got, I mean, I think the most we got up to, our goal was 1,000 dogs entered. And I think we made it to 900 and something a couple of years. But for a small club and show, it was amazing. But to see how this community just got behind the whole deal. And when dock diving started, I wanted to try to get one locally. If I can get anybody doing something with their dog and having fun, and to me that's huge. And so we put in first pool was not I think you think I think the length on the official size is like 32 feet long, and you have to have a deck, and it's 2 feet off the water, and all these specifications. But the first pool is probably about 25 foot, but it was something to play and see if the interest was there. And then we went for the uh, regulation size pool, and uh, it was a lot of fun. And we did get a few local folks doing it. In fact, I added a dog park. We had it all fixed up where people could bring their dogs, you know, try them for the dock diving. They were welcome to get in the pool with the dogs, and so I'd look out sometimes, and there'd be 8 and 10 people with their dogs and having a big time. So it was a lot of fun. But thinking about a border collie, I had a rescue lab that, in fact, her name was Susie, and I had a Jack Russell named Susie Q. And I just got the pull, so I changed her name to Splash. And she was a chocolate lab, but hyper, oh my gosh. And in fact, an elderly gentleman, I think, had found her or something, but she was so hyper that he was just throwing dog food and water over the fence. So she wasn't getting cared for, but he was up in his 80s, and this dog could wear me out about 2 seconds because hyper was a minimum word to describe her. But when I I helped the person out. His daughter had called about, concerned over the dog not being cared for, but concerned the dog was going to hurt her dad. So I took her, and immediately it was obvious that she was a water dog. And the retrieving, I mean, of course, being a lab, but she would fly. In fact, I got her novice and first two titles in dock diving, and had a lot of fun. But I wanted a border collie, and of all the breeds I'd had, I never really had a retrieving dog that was crazy about a ball, or these dogs that just drive you nuts when you stop throwing something for them. And so I fly out to California. I got connected with this lady, and her name was my grandmother's maiden name, which was off the wall. I guess I'm always looking for signs, something meant to be. But anyway, I go out and I get this baby, and was in Sacramento, California. Lady brought her to the hotel, and beautiful, beautiful dog. But she had zero, I mean, zero herding ability, retreat. I mean, I don't know how to explain, but at the time I had a potbelly pig, I had my pygmy goats, I had chickens, and she just was scared to death of livestock. I mean, normal, just a puppy would want to chase a chicken, or, have a little interest, throw a ball, and she'd look at you like, what'd you throw it if you wanted it? It's like, really? And hated the water. To get her in the pool, you basically had to carry her in. She was a good swimmer, and I was so disappointed with this dog. I mean, she learned a few things, but she just, I don't know what the bloodlines and background was, but what I had in my mind, and all the friends that I'd been around with their border collies, we'd had a young girl come from Mississippi to bring her dog to a dock diving event, and the tricks this kid had this dog do just was amazing. And she was like Splash on the dock diving part. I mean, she would run down that ramp and fly and just do it 1,000 times as long as you'd let her do it. So it was just they're just wonderful, smart dogs, and usually they're so intelligent, though it's scary because we just my book I wrote for training dogs is Train Your Dog Before He Trains You is the name of it. And that's pretty much the deal is a lot of times most dogs in general they train us how they want us. I mean, mine have me exactly like they want. um, I was doing a video earlier, and a Bendigo as a puppy always wanted inside my shirt. Well, I raised my shirt up, and she'd get under my shirt, and when we were at like a dog show or something, and she'd start scratching, wanting in my shirt, and I'm like, people would walk by like, "Darling, what is in your shirt?" But she was doing it this morning, and I was doing a video and about how not always the behaviors we allow or let them, because when she wants in my shirt, she walks up and scratches on my stomach till I raise my shirt up and let her in. But anyway, the ER says she's the sweetest heart, and yes, she learns everything, usually first round. Yeah, I mean, they are just super smart dogs. Did did you ever see the dog Hero? Is a border collie. Uh, this young girl, she was I think 18 when I met her, but she was from Canada, and she had trained this dog just, oh my gosh, the tricks and stuff was just out of this world. She won, I think she won America's Funniest Videos. Oh, and she was on America's Got Talent and got to third or fourth place. But just amazing. She had this dog, dancing with her, and she would cross her legs, and the dog would do it in timing with her. It's just amazing stuff. And I had seen her on a video, YouTube or something, and reached out to her and was like, "Would you come to Camden, Arkansas and perform at my dog show in February?" And thinking back, I must have really sounded like a trusting person because we didn't have any kind of contract or anything. In fact, I think she bought her airline tickets, and we paid her. It wasn't that much, but we paid for her hotel rooms and travel expenses and everything. But it was just so amazing to see all that she went on. And I think now, I know Hero passed away, but I think the deals company she does is called Super Collies. I know she'd had an app that she came out with helping people with training their dogs, and uh, she still goes to like Dollywood and places all around the country and will perform. And it's not that, I mean, Hero was a special dog, and yes, she's taught some of the other dogs the same type of stuff, but he was just one in a million, and I would tell her that. I'm like, yes, this can be trained, but this dog, the way he performed and worshiped her was just so amazing. And her name is Sarah Carson. And if you ever have time, look for a video of Sarah Carson and Super Collies. And that's somebody I need to see if I could get her to do an interview with me one day and talk about how, she was just a kid that loved dogs in Canada, and moved to LA, and like I said, she was either third or fourth on America's Got Talent. And I remember Simon was just, he loved Hero. I mean, he was just all in for Hero. But hit the wrong button there. You have seen her. Cool, cool. Yeah, she is amazing, and she's got an amazing ability uh, in training the dogs and them wanting to work for her. I've seen a few videos here lately that she's working with service dogs and training them, for different things. Yeah, that's something I hadn't thought about. I need to see Sarah. I'm sure she would. I always tell her she's gotten big time, after me and her met and talked about dogs. Uh, what was funny, and of course, Sarah was young and didn't know this, but back in the 90s, and I don't know if y'all have heard of this dog, but his name was Skid Boot. And this cowboy, he the he had the dog on Inside Edition, was a show back then, and I had saw this little blip about this dog and was like just amazed. He was a blue heeler, and this guy was uh, a horseshoer was his profession, and he was out shoeing horses and on Christmas Eve and realized he had not got his wife a Christmas present. And the guy that was at his ranch had a litter of puppies, and he asked the guy, if he could pick one. And so he picks this puppy out and then decides that at the last minute, no, that's not the right one, and goes back and he names this dog Skid Boot, which is the part that the horses wear on their ankles to keep them from kicking the backs of their legs or their feet at the front. But anyway, oh my gosh, you talk about unreal. And David Hartwig and Skid Boot. I went to the Mesquite Rodeo, and that's what he was doing, was going to rodeos and performing. And he had taught the dog to run the barrels just like the horses do right on barrel racing. But he'd get out in the middle of that arena and tell Skid Boot. And of course, the louder the crowd and kids got, the harder the dog worked for him. And it was just amazing to meet this guy. And in fact, he came to Arkansas. He came twice to Pine Bluff dog shows and performed for me. And then he came to Camden a couple of times and performed. But and David, he won America's Funniest Videos. There was like a pet, I can't think of what it was called, but it was a talent contest for pets. And he won, I think 25,000 in that contest. It was just amazing. And I'll never forget, he came in a couple of days early, and we were in Pine Bluff and going to Little Rock to do the morning shows, and having to be there at like 6:30 in the morning for some of these early morning shows. And he had a box of milk bones. Well, one, I'm driving, and here's David asleep, beside me, and Skid Boot's got his head laid on my shoulder, and I'm going, is this really happening, But we were sitting there, and he had a box of milk bones, and his stomach was growling, and he starts eating on a milk bone, and I'm like, oh, David, please, I don't have, it's just ingredients and stuff we eat, but to a person watching this dude eat a milk bone, it was like, oh, great, now I'm going to have some explaining to do. But anyway, he would hand him a milk bone, and Skid Boot got it sticking out of his mouth, and David would act like he's reading the ingredients to tell him if it's safe or not. And then when he'd say the word vitamin, it swallowed, it was gone. But Oh, it was such fun meeting them too. And there's a big time tearjerker. If you look up Skid Boot, uh, it's kind of David's whole story and how the dog did more for him than all those years, rodeoing and shoeing horses and stuff. It's just really a cool story. And I know he went on to have, two or three more dogs after that, but nothing compared to Skid Boot and the bond that they had. uh, he would they would mimic each other. David would be crawling and he'd get out on his belly and Skid Boot would, and then at the same time when David rolled over, Skid Boot would. And I had Jack Russell's at the time, and I taught Susie Q a lot of the same tricks that Skid Boot was doing, and it was just, when you see something that cool. But it was wild how Sarah didn't know Skid Boot's story, but so much of the things that her and Hero did mimic David and Skid Boot, and it was just cool to let them, to connect them and all. Oh yeah, great dogs really do more for us than we do for them. Yeah, um, I've said forever uh, that if we could all be more like dogs, man, we wouldn't have any problems in this world. If we could treat each other like we love them and hadn't seen them, even if it's been 2 minutes since you walked out of the room, they act like they hadn't seen you in months, and just forgiving and loving. And every now and then there's a few issues you have to deal with, but pretty much I just know it'd be a much better world if we could act more like them for sure. That's always been my thing, the golden rule: treat others like you want them to treat you. But my thing has always been, if I'm half the person my dogs think I am, then I'm all right, because they act like we're kings and queens, and uh, that's just a cool deal. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I don't know how many uh, DR have enjoyed uh, talking back with you, and I love your baby, just Tamale. I love that. How old is she? I wish we could share photos on YouTube and stuff to be able to put our pictures up of our dogs. I mean, I can see your uh, profile pic here, but it'd be cooler to get to see her. Well, I will be in touch with everybody. I've been trying to do my shows on Mondays and Wednesdays at 2:30 Central, and I do not know if I will be able to do a show Wednesday. We'll just have to wait and see. My plan is that I can tell y'all it was no big deal, and we're ready to go. She's 2 years old. She's a $50 rescue. That's awesome. And when you put the rescue on there, uh, that even adds more to it. I think they rescue us more than we ever rescue them, but it just makes it extra special when you find a dog like that, and the connection. It's just unbelievable. Well, I've been yapping for about 30 minutes now, 44 minutes actually. Um, but I appreciate you joining me, and hopefully, folks catch us on the replay. I'm up to like 620 something followers now, subscribers. So I really appreciate that. Uh, getting closer and closer to that thousand every day, and I'm tickled. Since December 3rd, it's not bad to have over 600 subs. So, but I appreciate it. I appreciate all the good thoughts and prayers coming my way. And I will be in touch with everybody, and hopefully that'll be back Wednesday. But for sure, I'll be trying to catch up in other people's chats as well. So, have a great rest of the day. And remember, there's always something to bark about. Have a good one, y'all. Love ya.